Is it time for recess yet? I'm so glad you found time to join us here on the Childcare Director's Chair, where Erica Saccoccio shares her best practices that she's refined through her passion of directing childcare centers over the last 23 years. From parenting interaction, systems to save you time, money, and stress, to profitability. She shares it all from the Childcare Director's Chair.
Ching, 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 ching. Hey, money, 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 money. Welcome to another episode of the Childcare Director's Chair. I'm your host, Erica Saccoccio, and my singing is horrible. Great thing. My advice is good. So, I wanted to talk today about 10 challenges that childcare directors or owners face when it comes to collecting childcare tuition payments. Let's start with, we know that running a childcare center is not an easy task. From managing staff to ensuring the safety and well-being of children, there are numerous responsibilities that fall on the shoulders of childcare directors. And one of the most common challenges faced by directors is collecting payments from parents. In today's episode, we will discuss the top 10 challenges childcare directors face when it comes to collecting payments, including those late payments or, even worse, bounce checks. So let's get into it. Number one of the biggest challenges childcare directors encounter is dealing with late payments. While we know some parents may have genuine reasons for delayed payments, it still can create a financial strain on the childcare center. Directors have to sometimes follow up with parents, send reminders, or even enforce late payment fees to ensure timely payments. And let's face it, sometimes those late fees don't deter them either. And I think that, as childcare directors or owners, we have a soft spot for our families and our children. And we are so emotionally connected to them that sometimes we get maybe taken advantage of a little. And so you want to make sure that there is that equal balance of empathy and understanding, but also your business hat. Because at the end of the day, or the end of the week for that matter, you have to make payroll. And you have to make sure that the electric bill gets paid and that the lights are on and that the heat is on. And if you have a large size center, you have, 20 parents or 30 parents that are behind in tuition payments, that's thousands and thousands of dollars. And that takes away from the program. That takes away from you being able to add new toys or to pay your own bills in a timely manner, which can hurt your credit rating or hurt your company's DUNS rating. And you don't want that to happen. So you really have to get ahead of the late payments. Number two, another significant challenge in payment collection is dealing with bounce checks. It can be very frustrating for childcare directors to receive a check that bounces, as it not only delays the payment, but it also incurs additional bank fees for the center. So directors must really establish clear policies regarding bounce check and communicate them effectively with parents to avoid situations. Now, many centers may not even be taking live checks anymore and only doing ACH, so that does help reduce some of that. But how many of you have, credit cards set up on automatic payments and then they don't go through, or you get I had to shut my card down because it's fraudulent and my new card's coming in 7 to 10 days, right? So now you're waiting for that. And then usually by the time you get paid, a new week has billed out. So now you're 2 weeks behind with getting payments for that family. So we have to really stay on top of that to make sure that we don't allow that to happen frequently. Number three is that lack of communication. Sometimes parents may fail to communicate changes in their payment schedule or financial difficulties that they're facing. And this lack of communication can make it difficult for childcare directors to plan and manage their own finances effectively. And if you're a small center, just like, we talked about a large center and how much thousands of dollars, but if you're a small center and you have such a small amount of revenue coming in every week and you have a few people that miss payments, like you might not be able to open the following week. So, it's really important that you communicate and encourage that open and transparent communication with your parents to help address any payment issues right away so that you know that you're going to be short, $2,000 for the week in funds that you were anticipating coming in through your cash flow. Number 4 is the inconsistent payment amounts. Child care directors often face challenges when parents pay inconsistent amounts each month. This can make it challenging to maintain your budget, make sure that it's balanced, and to plan for future expenses. So directors should establish a clear payment policy and communicate to parents to make sure that they are consistently paying. Number 5 is the multiple payment methods. With the increasing popularity of digital payment methods, child care directors often have to deal with parents using various payment platforms. Managing multiple payment methods can be time-consuming and require additional resources. Streamlining the payment process by encouraging parents to use a specific payment method can help alleviate this challenge. We did that at our center. For a long time, we were taking checks and credit cards and money orders and cash, and we no longer do that. So we use ProCare. We're not sponsored by ProCare. I'm not advocating or suggesting that that's the system that you use, but we use ProCare. We do our billing through their software, and parents can do ACH check or they can do credit card right through that system. And everything is paid right through the system. Billing is there. The parents are able to see their bill the same as me. It really did help. It did help with number 6, which is the tracking payments. So keeping track of numerous payments can sometimes be overwhelming for childcare directors, especially if they rely on manual record-keeping systems like we used QuickBooks, and then I used to have to print out invoices, give them to parents. It was such a delay. Give an aging report to my managers. We don't do any of that anymore. Everything is all electronic, and any one of us, the parent, the director, or the owner, has access to see what any family owes at any given time. So investing in a reliable payment tracking system or software can really help you with the process and reduce the chances of errors or missed payments. And that is true to a certain extent. However, what I would warn you is make sure that you do regular audits of your system. For example, in my experience, you may have a system that will invoice a family every week, but you have to make sure that that is a memorized transaction so that your system knows to then go ahead and invoice the family every single week. If you just make an invoice and you don't memorize that, it's not going to create a new invoice when a new week comes up, and then you can go weeks and weeks before you catch it. The customer ends up with the big bill and certainly not happy about that. And you also have weeks and weeks of payments that you have missed, which I would imagine you also would not be happy about. The other thing I would say is if you have the option to pause a week, like if somebody goes on vacation and you pause a week, make sure you remember to turn it back on when they return. If not, you'll end up with the same problem that I just mentioned, where weeks will go by and somebody is not being invoiced. And so that causes a headache for everybody. Number 6 is non-payment. In some cases, childcare directors may face the challenge of parents refusing to pay for services. This can lead to a financial strain on the childcare center and may even require legal action to recover outstanding payments. So directors should have clear policies in place to handle non-payment situations, and then also the need to not have to seek legal advice. But if you do, if it's necessary, then you should do that. But you really want to avoid having to work with collection agencies and then they get a portion of your bill. It causes a lot of problems. So make sure that you get on those non-payment customers immediately. Number 8 is payment disputes. Occasionally, payments may be disputed, or a family may say, that they feel the amount is not correct or the validity of the payment is not correct. So resolving payment disputes can be time-consuming and may require thorough documentation and communication. So childcare directors should maintain detailed records of payments and have clear dispute resolution policies in place. And make sure you do that in a timely manner. Now, number 9, we no longer do, but cash handling. For centers that accept cash payments or another challenge is ensuring the safe handling and recording of cash transactions. Directors must establish strict protocols for handling cash, including storage and regular reconciliations to minimize the risk of error or theft. And I will be straight honest, I have had more money stolen from me than I care to admit. So one of the reasons we no longer take cash. And it could be, it's not usually tuition, but other things like field trips or pizza days or things like that, which are usually less likely to be tracked in the same way that tuition is. So cash handling, that could be a major problem. I honestly, for safety reasons, don't even really allow it in my school anymore. Everybody can have their own opinion about that. But for me, we just do everything right through our payment portal. It's secure. It goes directly to the bank. It's trackable for both parties and it's documented. So I think that's best protocol nowadays, especially since it's so easy to use a platform like that. And number 10, financial planning. Lastly, childcare directors face the challenge of financial planning as they need to forecast and budget for future expenses based on the payments received. Uncertain payment patterns and delays can make it difficult for accuracy in planning for staffing, supplies, and other operational costs. So regularly review your financials and make adjustments as necessary to navigate this challenge effectively. And you know what? I know I said there was number 10. I'm going to go to number 11, subsidy payments. It is very easy for somebody to fall through the cracks if you don't pay attention to your subsidy payments when you do your billing. Did somebody's number, in our state, we call it a DHS number, but someone's certification number, did it drop off? And when you do your billing, did you catch it? And if you don't catch it, because those numbers need to be recertified. If you don't catch it, you can have somebody coming to your center 2, 3, 4 a week without getting paid, especially since most of those systems pay you a month after service. So it is very easy if you don't do regular audits and have very good tracking systems for that to happen. Same thing with subsidies that are supposed to come in through military or work subsidies. Maybe their work, an employer pays a portion of their child care. Make sure that you are tracking all of that and that they are paying you on time when they said they're going to pay you in the amount that they agreed to. So in conclusion, childcare directors encounter various challenges when it comes to collecting payments from parents. From late payments to bounce checks, these challenges can impact the financial stability and overall operations of your child care center. So implement clear policies, effective communication strategies, and utilizing technology. This will help directors overcome the challenges and a smooth payment collection process for you and your center. So that's it for today. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Child Care Director's Chair. Please give us a follow, a like, a subscribe, a review, whatever you feel in your heart you'd like to do. Thank you again for tuning in. I hope you have a great day.
Well, all the cute little kiddos have been picked up and it's time to go home. And that'll do it for another episode of the Child Care Director's Chair. Please leave a review so Erica knows the information is helping you to manage and improve your childcare centers. Remember to subscribe to get the latest episode from Erica's Child Care Director's Chair.